I'm still reeling from the Alaska Mileage Plan 2025 updates. It has turned my 2025 airline strategy upside down. Don't get me wrong, Alaska didn't do anything wrong. They just made their airline loyalty program too good to be ignored. For those who haven't been following along, or for those like me who tend to deprioritize Alaska, I have to call out a planned 2025 next level benefit of the Alaska Mileage Plan. Drumroll please. Beginning in 2025, you may now earn Alaska Elite qualifying miles when flying on a reward ticket on Alaska, Alaska's partners, or any Oneworld member airlines. Do you get what I'm saying? Let me say it another way. If you redeem Alaska miles to book a reward flight, the miles flown will be counted towards your elite qualifying miles. And depending on the class of travel, you'll be rewarded with even more elite qualifying miles to help you reach Alaska MVP status. Wow, wow, wow. I'm shaking. Go watch my last video here on Alaska to get caught up. You can consider this video a part 2. So guys, how can Alaska possibly afford to do this? My gut is telling me that this is not sustainable for Alaska, but I'll never pass up a great deal. So I'm here for it, and I'll be gunning for Alaska MVP Gold 75K status in 2025. So how am I gonna do it? That's what this video is all about. I'm gonna share with you my credit card strategy to get me to MVP Gold 75K status in 2025. Fingers crossed.
Here we go.
For those new to the channel, I'm Richard Debs from RSquared Travel Rewards, and I'm an avid traveler. If you're watching this, you likely are too, so go ahead and subscribe to see how I use credit cards to enable this travel habit of mine. So why did I settle on MVP Gold 75K as my target? There are 3 primary reasons. Number 1, the 100% bonus miles on every flight. These bonus miles will help set me up for future flights. Number 2, complimentary upgrades at booking. This game is all about free upgrades. So if you can snag one without having to wait a couple days before your flight, it's a no-brainer. I'm gonna travel, so why not do it with as much comfort as possible? Number 3, it maps to Oneworld Emerald status, which grants access not to just business class lounges, but to first class lounges as well. For those times that upgrades aren't available, accessing first class lounges while flying economy is much appreciated. Be sure to check out my last video to understand the details of the Alaska Mileage Plan program, because this video assumes that you have that base knowledge. Again, consider this part 2. Feel free to watch it, then come back here. Without further ado, here are the cards which are gonna get me to the Alaska status which I covet. Number 1, the Qatar Visa Infinite card. I don't have the physical card yet, but it's already on my phone, and as you can see, I've already been using it. Number 2, the Alaska Visa Signature card. Number 3, the Bilt MasterCard. Number 4, the American Express Gold card, the Gold Standard Food card. And number 5, the American Express Blue Business Plus. Let's drill into how these cards are going to be used. First up, Qatar Visa Infinite. Some of you might be wondering why, but guys, this isn't a random choice. Given that the primary way to earn Elite Alaska status is to actually fly, my butt is going to be sitting in Alaska booked flights to rack up those Elite qualifying miles. And it's likely going to take me to around October 2025 to secure MVP Gold 75K status. That means that I'll be flying on Oneworld member airlines without status. To combat this, I elected to acquire the Qatar Visa Infinite card, which instantly conveys Qatar Gold status and maps to Oneworld Sapphire status. There's always a method to my madness. I'll be flying on Qatar Airlines quite a bit in 2025, booked via Alaska. My new Qatar status will at least allow me to enjoy airport priority and access to business class lounges while flying economy and chasing Alaska status. Guys, you gotta admit, that's a brilliant strategy. And if you want the Qatar Visa Infinite card, I'd appreciate it if you use the link on my website, boomacompany.com. And if you want the card just because you think this was a brilliant move, I'd appreciate it if you use the link on my website, boomacompany.com. The card has a current welcome offer of 80,000 avios, we're gonna call them miles from now on, after spending $5,000 within the first 3 months of card ownership. Through December 2024, its points have doubled to 6x miles on dining and 2x miles as a catch-all. I'll be using these two categories to put the bulk of the required $5,000 in spend. I'll likely cancel the card a year from now because it would have served its purpose, given that I'd likely have One World Emerald status by then. But you never know what retention offers might be available a year from now. Next is the Alaska Visa Signature Card. This is an obvious choice where I'll be putting all my paid flights on this card beginning 2025. I reside in the Northeast, but there are plenty of One World flights from both Logan and JFK. The multipliers on the Alaska card for flights is only 3x. But the value here is that I'll be earning 1 elite qualifying mile for every $3 spent on the card. It goes without saying that all award flights will be booked through Alaska. I will dabble with car rentals and hotel stays from within Alaska to help bolster my elite qualifying miles earnings. And if need be, I'll use the 2x multiplier on gas, EVs, cable, and select streaming. Alright, next is the Bilt MasterCard. Bilt is the only credit card which transfers directly to Alaska. Of course, Hawaiian Airlines is the exception given that it was recently acquired by Alaska. Your guess is as good as mine if the Hawaiian card persists through 2025. Perhaps it'll be discontinued to new applicants, but will continue to live on. From all that I've read, the Hawaiian brand will continue to live on. You better believe that I'll be taking advantage of any Bilt elevated transfer boost to Alaska. The Bilt card will continue to hold my rent, along with some dining. Most points I earn on the Bilt card will be transferred to Alaska. Next is the American Express Gold Card. This card will surely get lots of love in the grocery spend category, but there will be a healthy balance between it and my triple City Custom cash cards. I know this is a video about hunting Alaska status, but I'm always running 2 or 3 systems at the same time. I'm able to amass points very quickly on the Amex card, where I'll then push the bulk of those points to Hawaiian Airlines for immediate transfer to Alaska. Alright, there is a psychological bit here which I need to get over. Amex has always been my leading source of points, but I have to get used to the fact that my Alaska coffers will now hold most of the riches. It's gonna take a minute, but I'll get there. Alright, lastly, the American Express Blue Business Plus. After my Qatar Welcome Offers spend requirement is met, this card will be back in play as my 2x catch-all card, with the hope that transfers from Amex to Hawaiian will be allowed at least through July of 2025. I think the writing is on the wall that this is gonna be plugged. Alright, so if I literally play my cards right, this should all work. I'll be relying on actual flying to achieve status with Alaska, which is what I love about the program. Here's my thought process. Selfishly speaking, of course. You can't spend your way to MVP Gold 75k or 100k. You have to actually fly. So perhaps not everyone will have status. There are some other programs like American where you can get a pretty good status by spending. So the hope is those who have status will be able to get their upgrades. This is another reason why I need to exit the Delta world. It's because the program no longer works for me. If everyone has status, then no one has status.
Everyone can be super. And when everyone's super, no one will be.
So I have 4 questions for you, and you may answer whichever ones you like. What do you think of my credit card setup to achieve status? Do you have a better airline status plan? Do you think I'm putting too many of my eggs into the Alaska basket? And lastly, do you believe that Alaska can sustain giving away miles on award travel? Thank you for watching until the end. Since you've gotten this far, it only makes sense to like, share, and subscribe to this channel and become a member to help give it some visibility. As always, take care and be good to each other.
Here we go.